I really thought long and hard about whether I should even make this video and put that kind of energy out there, because I really do want to kind of protect my energy right now. Hi ladies, thanks for stopping by. My name is Helen, and if you're new here, I started this YouTube channel just last year when I turned 40 years old, and I started my IVF journey abroad in Korea. I just turned 41, but I'm not letting age deter me from continuing on. So I have documented my journey because you just kind of need to channel a lot of that energy as you're going through IVF. But I also wanted to tell people about this great opportunity getting IVF abroad, because it's incredibly expensive in the States, and a lot of the times the doctors push you to get donor eggs right away when you have a low AMH like me. I have diminished ovarian reserve, which means that I have a very low AMH. My levels were 0.06 when I started, and it kind of went up as I did my fertility treatments and I changed my lifestyle. So I do have a video that talks about that, so I'll link that up here. For somebody like me, I need back-to-back treatments, and a lot of egg retrievals to get the same amount of embryos that a woman with a normal ovarian reserve would have. I needed to go somewhere that I can afford it, and somewhere where they wouldn't keep pushing donors on me. Not that I'm against donor eggs, but I just wasn't ready for it at the time that everyone recommended it to me. So here I am. After 7 rounds of egg retrievals, I was able to freeze 7 embryos last year. And my original goal was to bank enough embryos to make 2 babies. This year, I came back to Korea for the transfer, and oh my God, I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it has been. I naively thought that after an entire year of back-to-back egg retrievals, God would show me a little bit of grace and just make it happen with the first transfer. But that was not really the case. I tend to have this childlike naivete, if you will, that has gotten me through life, most of life. But with infertility, I feel like it's a little different. So in my last video, I talk about my first frozen embryo transfer and the entire process from A to Z, what that was like, as well as the symptoms that I was experiencing after the transfer. It did end in a chemical pregnancy, which was super heartbreaking for me. I really was so hopeful, and I really thought that it was going to happen on the first try for some reason. But after the first failed transfer, we moved on to the second transfer right away without taking a break. And I'm not sure if my heart was ready, but we really didn't take a break and we just went straight into it. Today, I will be sharing with you my second FET and the day-to-day symptoms for me afterwards. So yeah, I'll share that with you today. So the protocol was pretty much the same for my second FET. It was a medicated cycle. So day 2 of my cycle, I went to the hospital to get an ultrasound. That's also when I started taking the estrogen pills as well as the baby aspirin in the evening. Oh, I should get everything. Okay, so I brought all of my meds to show you guys. So this is Progenova and 2 milligrams. They're just birth control pills. So I would take these 3 times a day. And then at night, I would take the baby aspirin, which is not, it's not prescription. You can get it anywhere. They're basically blood thinners. So yeah, baby aspirin. I would periodically visit the hospital every few days for an ultrasound to see how thick my uterine lining was. And it was going pretty well. The doctor said that it was even better than the first time. His reaction was much better than the first time. He said that the environment looked really good for a pregnancy. So I was really thrilled about that. When the thickness was about 10 millimeters, that's when he prescribed progesterone to me. And I took that in the form of Prolutex, 25 milligrams. And it comes in this very tiny little vial that I have to transfer over with this syringe. It's a really big needle. Can you see that? And then once I have the liquid in the syringe, I change the needle to one of these little baby needles. It's so tiny. So let's talk about these progesterone shots because it's been an interesting topic. So my understanding is that these giant needles, or even bigger than these, are the ones that many people use for intramuscular progesterone shots. So PIO shots are not all the same. They can be taken intramuscularly or subcutaneously, which requires the smaller needles. They're the same tiny needles that I used for my stim shots, and so not very painful at all. It does kind of get sore afterwards, but while I'm giving myself the shot, it's like nothing. So subcutaneous PIO shots are my preferred method of giving myself progesterone, but every doctor prescribes something different. So not everyone gets the same kind of shot for progesterone. He also prescribed me some suppositories for progesterone, which these changed from my first FET. These I only have to take once a day. So the other ones I had to take 3 times a day, which was very uncomfortable because it's not like you can just put it in public when you're out and about. And so these have been really great because it's kind of like a tampon, and you just do it once and you're done. After starting progesterone, my transfer date was set for, I think, about 5 days later. Okay, deciding whether or not to test my embryos has been the biggest and the most difficult decision throughout this entire journey. Probably one of the most difficult decisions in my life, if I'm being honest. The doctor told me because I have had a natural pregnancy and a miscarriage, and then there was one round where I tested my couple of embryos that I got that round, and both of them were abnormal, and then I vowed to not test anymore. And then my first FET resulted in a chemical pregnancy. He said, okay, maybe it's time that we start testing our embryos. He told me to think about it. I know a lot of people are very passionate about this subject, but I just want to remind everyone to be kind with your opinions because everyone's in a different situation and everyone has their own reasons for making their own decisions. So please be kind. There are 2 sides of it. One side is that embryo testing is not 100% accurate because you're taking a few cells from the trophectoderm of the embryo. This is like a 200-300 cell blastocyst. And so what if you take 6 cells that are abnormal cells from a low-level mosaic that can totally make it, that would have survived otherwise? I did a lot of research on this. but there are only a few small studies. Some abnormal embryos have been transferred in these studies, and they turned out to be healthy babies. Sometimes it's because of faulty test results from the labs, and other times it's because you only are testing a few cells out of hundreds, so it might not tell the whole story. Now, on the other hand, I am 40 or over 40 now, and my doctor told me that about 30 to 40% of my eggs are going to be normal. 60 to 70% of my eggs are abnormal. I've heard other numbers as well, but I'm just gonna trust my doctor on this one. In order to get to a healthier pregnancy faster, it might be worth it to just test all my embryos, right? Ultimately, we decided not to test again because we had already committed to not testing starting from the first transfer, and the reason for that is because I don't make a lot of embryos. I made a total of 7 embryos in 7 rounds. That's like the number of embryos that somebody can make in 1 round. I'm definitely not against testing, but because of the fact that we had already committed to not testing, we only had 5 embryos left at that point. What if there was an error? So ultimately we decided not to test. So I transferred 2 blastocysts day 5. Hi guys, today is 2 DPT. I transferred 2 day 5s untested again, and so I am just chilling and actually getting ready to move. That's the reason for all the mess behind me. It's just kind of right now, but we found a place that would be a little bit more comfortable for us to live. My husband's here with me this time around for this transfer, so it's definitely been better having him around. He's cooking and cleaning and taking care of me and making me laugh, and it's just been so great having him here. I missed him so much. But so far, it feels exactly the same as the last time. I feel a heaviness in my uterus. I feel some pulling and twinges, a little bit of cramping, very slight spotting. One thing that I found really comforting, a saying was, "What is meant for you will never miss." And so I just keep repeating this to myself, and it gives me peace, knowing that what's meant to happen is going to happen, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So anyway, I'll just leave you with that today. It is 4 DPT, and I feel nothing. Last time I feel like I was spotting more, and I just felt more cramping and whatever, but this time I feel less. I don't feel completely nothing because I do feel the side effects of progesterone. I feel very bloated. I feel a little bit of cramping and numbness and back pain, that kind of thing. I'm not spotting anymore. I was yesterday a little bit, but nowhere near as heavily as I was my first go. So I don't know. I'll come back tomorrow and let you know what's going on. Hi guys, it is 5 DPT. Actually almost 6 DPT because it is pretty late in the evening and I have to be kind of quiet because my husband's sleeping. My last transfer that ended in a chemical pregnancy, I started testing at 5 DPT. And that's when I saw my very first positive, a very faint line. And I remember feeling so excited and hopeful. But then I also remember the anxiety and trauma from testing every single day and seeing that line fade. So this time I'm not sure when I will start testing or if I will test that often. But the real reason why I didn't start testing today is because we were so busy moving into our new home. So today and tomorrow is dedicated to moving all our stuff. And I should say my husband is moving all our stuff and I'm just sort of directing him. When I get to the new home, I will get settled and then maybe then I can start testing again. I don't have very clear symptoms of pregnancy this time. Last time I had implantation bleeding. When I was naturally pregnant, I had implantation bleeding, and I don't have any kind of bleeding at all this time. So that's different and a little bit worrisome. But I know that it can be different pregnancy to pregnancy, so I'm trying not to obsess about it. I do feel some very subtle cramping and soreness. I guess the best way to describe it is a numbness that's running down my thighs, almost like I have a crushed nerve or something. I will check back in with you guys later after I move. Today is 8 DPT and we're finally moved into our new home. I finally tested today for the first time this morning and got a very, 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 very faint line. So I don't know what that means. It's pretty late to be testing and getting a faint line. So I'm gonna just try to test back again tomorrow. Trying not to worry too much about it because maybe I just have a late implanter. But anyway, we did move into our new home and it is actually really nice. We have our cleaning lady just cleaning. I feel so much better after moving into this new home. So at least I feel good about that. As for my symptoms, I've been cramping a lot and my stomach has just been hurting a lot and my back is super sore. I have the numbness running down my legs. I have this like wool blanket shawl around my waist so that I can keep my belly warm. I have all the symptoms of being pregnant. My boobs are swollen and sore. I have the headache. I feel a little nauseous, but hopefully my line progresses a little bit more tonight and tomorrow. So today is 9 DPT and forgive all the noise. My husband is cooking something nice for me. And I tested today, starting yesterday, I started testing. Yesterday at 8 DPT, which is quite late, I saw a very faint positive. Today, this morning, I got up and the first thing that I did was test. And unfortunately today I didn't see anything at all. So I think it's another failed transfer. And now I'm really starting to try to wrap my head around the fact that this next one might be my last chance. So I mean, it's just a lot to take in. But luckily, I have my husband here with me who has been so great and he's been holding my hand through all of it. It's so important to have your family around to support you through tough times like these. But yeah, this one is actually not as difficult. Well, it's difficult, but it's not as hard hitting as the first one because the first FET, you know, I feel like the lines got a lot darker, and so it allowed me to get excited about the prospect of being pregnant and it working the first time. So this time, you know, it's just a little bit easier for me to accept. But tomorrow I will go and confirm that this is a chemical, and I will update you guys afterwards. I really wish that I had better news to share, but let's just be real right now. A second failed FET sucked. Honestly, right now I am in the middle of my 2-week wait after my 3rd transfer, and I'm making this video during my 2-week wait. So I really thought long and hard about whether I should even make this video and put that kind of energy out there, because, you know, I really do want to kind of protect my energy right now. And I transferred the last of my 3 embryos all at once. So this is kind of my last shot. And I just didn't want to put any negative energy out there or any sadness out there, because my second failed transfer was sad. And it was sad to get 2 back-to-back chemicals. But at the same time, I thought about how my daily symptoms and my thought process through it all might benefit somebody out there going through it. So I thought that it was important to share my story. I honestly didn't take this one as hard as I did the first failed transfer, because I think that in a way I was really guarding my heart already, and just in case it happens again. I think it might have been the wrong way to go about it, because instead of feeling hopeful and happy, I was feeling measured and controlled and just very careful, I guess, just worried. And when you go into transfer, you want to have hope and a lot of positivity. So I think my second FET, I just had the wrong attitude going into it. I probably needed a little bit of time, honestly. Now I am doing so much better. I feel so positive and relaxed, and I really try to detach from the outcome a little bit. Rather than obsessing about what the results are going to be, I am just kind of taking it day to day and counting all my blessings, all the things that I do have, all the wonderful women that I've met through this process, all the great lifestyle changes that I've made. And I'm just kind of trying to be in that zone of relaxation and gratitude. An affirmation that I have been repeating lately is, I'm happy with it and I'm happy without it. I acknowledged what happened in the past was very difficult and sad, but I don't want to live in the past. I want to move forward. So I am living for right now. Since I am currently in my 2-week wait after my 3rd transfer, I would really appreciate some positive energy my way, your good wishes, and some prayers and words of encouragement. You know, high vibes. Anyway, that's it for this video. I usually update a little bit more frequently on my Instagram or my Facebook support group, so if you're interested in following me there, then I'll put that up on the screen here. I created the Facebook support group as sort of a safe space for us to gather and encourage each other and support each other throughout our journey. So if that sounds good to you, then please feel free to join me there. Thank you so much for all the beautiful comments and warm, kind messages that you've been sending me. I really appreciate you being a part of my journey. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and share this video with somebody that you feel like might benefit from it. I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye. Bye.